cars, and a very good healthy field of sports sedans down here at Winton this afternoon. And there you see in car number 1, Bradley Jones from Albury, driving the Brian Thompson V8 Chev Monza. And in fact, we might take a moment out to have a look at the way they'll line up in the top 12 positions for this race. On pole position, Brad Jones in the Monza. Alongside him, Brian Thompson in the Mercedes-Benz. On the second row of the grid, Bob Jolly. And alongside him, a welcome return, Rusty French in the Turbo Porsche. On the third row of the grid, we've got Mike Severi in the Tirana, sharing that row with Graham Smith in the Mazda. The next row of the grid is Greg Crick in the Mazda, then Peter McKenzie in a Holden. And position 9, Ken House in an Escort, with Barry Bray in a very fast Nissan car number 36. And rounding out the top 12, Tony Hubbard in his Falcon and Wayne Mankin in a Turbo Mazda.
They get away quickly off the start. Jones down on the inside. Thompson goes with him. Look, a brilliant start here from Rusty French as they make their way down into the right-hander, and he will drop into third place immediately. Bob Jolly right behind him, but it'll be Brad Jones coming out of that sweeper and working the back part of the course. Brian Thompson right in behind him. Rusty French with Bob Jolly on his tail as they move into the first left-hander.
Through this very fast sweeping left-hand corner, one car has gone off. That's Mike Severi in the Tirana. As we look at Rusty French on the right-hand side of the screen, it's Bob Jolly in behind him, and the two red cars up front for first and second, and of course it's Brad Jones leading Brian Thompson.
Great scrap this for third and fourth, up to the right-hander that brings them along down the back straight, and Brad Jones opening the taps now on the Chevy Monza and really storms down the back straight. Opened a slight gap then on Brian Thompson as they come through Ollie's S's and back onto the start finishing straight.
End of lap number 1, 9 to go. It's Brad Jones easing the power on as he comes down through the pit straight. Brian Thompson right in behind. 600 brake horsepower at the disposal of Jones as he comes through the right-hander at the end of the pit straight.
Thompson closing up now. Down to the left-hander, Thompson very close indeed to his young charge, Brad Jones. Those two red machines starting to pull away well and truly from Rusty French. Oh, problems there. Number 27.
That's Mankin in the Mazda. Had problems yesterday with this car, and it did exactly that. That's a turbo failure. If we go back to our leading duo, Brad Jones and Brian Thompson. And they've now opened up a little gap over Rusty French. They've completed 5 laps. So we're coming up to half distance.
Have a look at the smoke haze though over the back part of the course. Mankin pulled off. I thought he was going to kill the engine for a while, but it's still powering on. The grass over there.
About to go through that and disappear in a cloud of smoke, but emerge again, nose to tail still. Brad Jones and Brian Thompson. By gee, what a battle up front it's been between this pair.
Interesting thing is that the Benz weighs in at around about 1,100 kilograms, quite a bit heavier than the Monza. It's about 960, and the two of them fairly evenly matched on the road, despite the fact that the Benz has a lot more horsepower. What a performance from Jones, who specialises in production car racing, and we mentioned last weekend at Sydney's Amaru Park that he could well be driving a Group A Mitsubishi Starion in the not too distant future, so it's a busy season for him this year. Certainly the rising star in Australian motorsport.
He's done very well, of course, in Group E, driving the Perrier Starion, and in sports sedans, doing ever so well in Brian Thompson's Chevrolet Monza number 1.
The way Brad's going at the moment, he could very well upset the lap record here, which is held by Tony Edmondson in that powerful Alfa Romeo. He set the time in 58.8 seconds, and Jones getting down to those lines as French goes around at Castrol Corner and backs neatly off the circuit. So it'll be a Thompson 1-2 as far as his cars are concerned. But Brad Jones will be the driver as he comes through Ollie's S's.
French is just back on the circuit ahead of Bob Jolly. I think Jolly's going to get past him, so it'll be Bob Jolly in third place. Checkered flag is out. And there's the victory to Brad Jones. Brian Thompson crossing the line in second place in the Mercedes. And it's a desperate battle for third right down to the wire, but Bob Jolly, virtue of the spin by Rusty French, is going to get it. Yes, he does. And bad luck for Rusty French because he drove a really aggressive race and deserved better luck, I thought.
Well, a good way to start the day for Brad Jones. Let's recap the placings on the Castrol scoreboard. Brad Jones in car number 1 takes the win. Second spot will go to Brian Thompson in the Mercedes, and third place goes to good old Bob Jolly in the Commodore.